Working with enlarged adenoids or tonsils. Sinus infections is my specialty because my son had Haemophilus influenza. He's had staph. He's been sepsis. He's had preseptal cellulitis. We've cauterized the maxillaries. We've deviated septums. We've done it all. So when you have, and there's another one that I'm going to pop out about working with an infection. So the fluid dynamics of the infection, first of all, or something that's infected. Imagine your mucosal rate is this. Now, when a child doesn't have a vestibular system or they're working on that, the vestibular system is always running. That's why babies can't wipe their nose and this, that, and the other. But an impaired vestibular system is easily noted because of the drool. You can't maintain your fluids. Your fluids get much thinner suddenly. It doesn't matter if you're drunk, doing drugs, or you've got cerebral palsy, let's say. Right? One of the things you know if just by walking in the room, if a vestibular system is not intact, is because the fluid dynamics are still very, very liquidy. In other words, like, you know, my nose isn't running right now, right? My mucus is thicker as an adult, let's say, or a child. But when you have an infection, right, the fluid dynamics is slower. It's also heavier, right? And so when a child's going to do movements that should be synchronized, right, and they're there to coat the processes, right, you don't have that function because of the infection. Or worse, let's say if there's enlarged adenoids or tonsils, right? So imagine, let's say even your windpipes, right? And you've got this much, right? Ah, look at that. Did you see the hearts come out? Is that from doing Taylor Swift? Look at that. Cute. Ah. Okay, sorry. I might be 60 years old, but sometimes, you know, you're just having fun. So imagine that, and actually this is this part of my thing. So you've got that much room to move, let's say, your airways, right? And if you have something that's in here, like, you know, an irritant, and it's that much to that much, it's not a big deal, right? But when your windpipe is smaller, right, the same irritant is suddenly a lot more. Or if your windpipe is this big, let's say, and now your adenoids are swollen into there, it's taking it up. So when you have a blockage of 60% of your airways, it's not only your airways, right? Now I'm going to tilt my head. Well, my adenoids are enlarged, right? My mucus might be stuck here. And then I tilt my head and I get that back drain, you know, kind of thing. And because it comes off the adenoids and then dumps in because it's collected almost like a dam. There's lots of things that can happen. I'm not here to say do or not to do surgery. I guess I wish we all had a surgery-free life. My son's had 30 surgeries. So there's those kind of concepts that come into evolve. But again, when my adenoids are enlarged and I go to roll over and there's nothing, and then I go roll a certain way, and then I get a dump, well, I'm going to stop rolling over, right? So that's where it can affect also your milestones development, because remember, I always tell you that a baby and a child are smarter than us. They don't do something that hurts them or it's difficult. So if it's suddenly difficult to breathe, to do something, or difficult to swallow, that breath-swallow ratio is off. The human body will always choose breath over anything else. And so that's where you have to take into consideration. So it's not just about to or to have not surgery. I always go back to where this the function within the child. What are they trying to do? And when their system is off, it's a lot harder to function. So you have to take into consider the mucosal rate flow. And that was with my son. So he was like this. But the infection was just too heavy on his system. He couldn't function. He lost 60% muscle mass. You just can't be your best if you don't feel great. But you're certainly not going to do your best if your breath or swallow function get interrupted with that. And that's your other consideration. Thanks.